has said quite plainly, we have to live, we have to play for pride tonight. We haven't seen any rough stuff in this Test series. I think we may get some in the opening 10 minutes tonight.
The third and final Test of 2007 then, and it's a lovely moment for young Kyle Shelford, who is stood there alongside Sam Panapa. And of course the names of Panapa and Shelford are synonymous with the Wigan history. Kyle is the 11-year-old son of the late Adrian Shelford, the former Wigan and New Zealand forward, who died some 4 years ago. And we remember him tonight, and it's a big night for his young... Was that boy, it seems a long, long time ago. But the New Zealanders go into the huddle, and then in a few moments' time, they will have the haka. We love it, don't we? We're all set. If they deny Great Britain the clean sweep, then beat France next weekend, they will emerge from this tour with a degree of pride. That will be the message that Gary Kemble will have sent his players out with. And Roy Asotasi, as captain, will not want to go home with a 3-0 whitewash against him. The only trouble is for New Zealand, we've looked down the records, the starting lineup, not one of them has kicked a place goal all season for either club or country. The only one who has kicked a goal is Lanso Haya. He starts on the bench tonight. Mind you, they weren't called to kick any goals last week, were they? We're underway then, the third and final Test of 2007, the kick-off by Ben Roberts. Can Britain make it 3-0 and head off towards the World Cup in great spirit?
It's important that the Kiwis really get off to a pretty strong start. Make sure the defence is solid, try to get into the faces of the Great Britain guys. They know that the red, white and blue boys will be very confident indeed.
Britain with first use of the football here is Adrian Morley. Many times Morley has been on the wrong end of score lines against the Kiwis and Australia, and of course in Test series as well. But this is a night that he will enjoy as he believes the balance begins to be redressed. John Clark to Rob Burrow inside the 40-metre mark. The ball though bounces kindly for Sam Perrott, the New Zealand full-back. He brings it forward as far as Sean O'Loughlin and company.
It's good work by Jeremy Smith, the New Zealand halfback, put a lot of pressure on Rob Burrow. It's going to be interesting to see their battle tonight. That was one of the failings in the second Test for the Kiwis. They didn't allow anybody to get anywhere near the kicking of Rob Burrow.
This is the 109th meeting between Great Britain and New Zealand. The British have got 64 wins to their name, New Zealand 39, 5 draws. And all of those draws came in this country. There it is, that's the way it looks head-to-head since the very first tour, exactly 100 years ago. Last tackle here for New Zealand.
Big hit there by Jamie Peacock.
That's a good kick. It's a high hanging kick from Jeremy Smith. And Gardner is underneath it. Gardner spills it. The ball went backwards. And Paul Wellens picks up the pieces for Great Britain.
You just watch how Wellens positions himself there, just in case there is an error. And there was one. That was tremendous play by the fullback.
These pictures going back, of course, to the other side of the world with our colleagues at Sky Sports in New Zealand. And the Kiwis will really want to put on a show for them as well, but there is some space here for King Senior. He goes down the wing, tips the ball back inside, and that was straight into the arms, was it, of the halfback Jeremy Smith? Well, if it was, it doesn't matter because Hodgson, he had hold of the football as well, and the referee said Jeremy Smith was lying all over the top of David Hodgson. It's a penalty to Great Britain.
Good work by Great Britain, though. They could see that there was an overlap out wide on that left-hand side. The New Zealand sliding defence, very slow to react. Look how Wellens put himself just in case there's an error, and there was. That's the reason why Wellens is classified as one of the best fullbacks in the world, not just in this country.
Here's Martin Gleeson for Great Britain now, and he gets the ball away to Paul Wellens. He is clattered to the ground, though, by Jeremy Smith. And another penalty for stripping the ball after the tackle was made by Jeremy Smith. Two Jeremy Smiths tonight, this one number 12 from Melbourne, number 7 from South, the halfback. There's the penalty. That's the reason why the referee, Tony Archer from Australia, has blown the whistle.
Silly play there, right in the face of the fullback Paul Wellens.
Clark will restart. Find Danny Maguire. That's a good ball wide to Wellens, and further wide it goes to Senior, and Senior has support outside him with Hodgson. Hodgson comes in onto the whitewash, loses the ball forward. Asatazi picks it up for the Kiwis.
Well, you had to be critical of Great Britain. You'd say that a chance like that they needed to do better on. Again, they created the option. I mean, the width they played with in the first 3.5 minutes, they had the time and space. They lost the ball in the tackle. But they've mixed up the tactics particularly well. In the first test, they ran so successfully from the dummy half position, and that just tore through the New Zealand side. Here in this game now, the third game, a complete contrast, shifting the ball early in this match.
New Zealand here in possession then. And a kick on tackle number 3. And Wellens is after it and pouches it. But not making any progress forward, was hounded down then by Paul Fatuira. Rob Burrows scampers into dummy half. He gets the ball away to Eddie Gardner. Gardner is thumped by Roy Asatazi, tackled low down by the loose forward tonight, Simon Mannering.
Some significance, Eddie, in that kick. Ben Roberts' first game today is a left foot kicker. Jeremy Smith, the right foot kicker. Ben Roberts is playing on the left side, and that'll suit him. There's a half
Forward pass, says the referee. That was marginal.
I think he got it right. He just delayed it. He had to reach back for it. 50-50 perhaps on the replay. Let's see. Just maybe.
Well, that looked like a line ball to me.
Yeah, 50-50, but it's gone away. Well, the Kiwis have been complaining throughout the first 2 tests that the rub of the green and the decisions by the official have certainly gone against them. Gary Campbell was very critical of the official, Tony Archer.
Sam Perrott, the fullback, winning his 3rd cap for the Kiwis tonight. In a dummy half is Dean Halatau, who gets it to Mannering, who pops the ball up for his second row partner, Louis Anderson. That's good defence. Good defence from Great Britain again. Certainly last week they moved forward in a solid line, Great Britain, a la the defence that Leeds Rhinos employed certainly under Tony Smith this season, that took them to the grand final and the victory against St Helens at Old Trafford. That was Roberts, and he gets the ball to Jeremy Smith. They're giving it some width. This is Fatuira. It's a great ball, and this is the winger Tuiaki.
Great work by the Kiwis, keeping it alive. The first 2 tests, all they're trying to do is bring the ball back and run back on the inside.
Here comes Asatazi up the middle. Asatazi looking to free the arms, get the ball away, but Great Britain harass him to the ground, but he's just 5-6 metres away maybe from that Great Britain goal line, and right underneath the shadow of the posts. Halatau again to Ben Roberts, and Roberts goes wide, and there's a chance here in the corner, and I think he is in. Chase Stanley.
He sure is.
And Chase Stanley gets the first try for New Zealand here. And Chase Stanley, of course, is a young man on his debut from the St George Illawarra club. 18-year-old. He's a nephew of the All Black legend, Smoking Joe Stanley. So he was unknown at the start of this year. He couldn't be shifted from the Dragons side, though, in the end. And he's got the New Zealanders off to a perfect start.
They were expecting the kick, it didn't come, they went for the power play. Tremendous hands. They got caught out there, Great Britain. All came about from the forward pass, it looked 50-50. They got the nod, Gleeson said he was just in front. They anticipated the kick, and you could see there that David Hodgson out of position. All throughout this test series, the Great Britain have gone man-on-man. On that occasion, they were caught very tight, anticipating perhaps the kick into the corner, but quick hands has put this man. Well, we said the Kiwis needed a good start, and they've got it.
Well, Jeremy Smith is the man who has got the kicking responsibility, and he couldn't have a more difficult kick, could he, for the first. He is the second row forward, Jeremy Smith, from Melbourne. And this will test it. It's on its way, it's not a bad effort, and he has kicked it. Jeremy Smith has the to Chase Stanley's try. The Kiwis to 6-0 up.
All you need is the overlap. It's a simple game, rugby league, when you get man-on-man and you get a right in the corner. He did well. Stanley just ducked underneath a high attempt to push him into touch. Not a smile on Gary Campbell's face, the coach, but he will be pleased with that inside, surely. He knew they could not allow Great Britain to get off to a flying start like they did in the second test. This will really make a game of it now. It'll lift their tails. Certainly the Kiwis are up for it.
They are 8 minutes of the match gone, and I don't know whether it's the right thing to say, but the New Zealanders seem to have played more football in the opening 8.5 minutes here at Wigan than they did for the full 80 minutes at Hull last week. Is that fair comment?
It is a fair comment, Eddie, but I'll tell you something about these two halfbacks. They can be brilliant. Jeremy Smith and Ben Roberts can be absolutely brilliant, but they were some of the casualties out of the 58-0 thrashing by the Australians. They were actually the pairing that played there, and now we're seeing them in the third test after the series is dead and gone. But they can be very, very good. They're actually added something to the kicking game of this Kiwi team as well, and they can be exceptional on their day.
Here they come again then, and it's the left boot of Ben Roberts again.
And again, they're kicking early in the tackle count. They're playing for position, and that's good. They've obviously worked hard on this throughout the week. The chase is good. The defence is solid until this moment. OK, we're only 9 minutes into the game. But a 6-0 lead. That is a wonderful effort from them.
John Clark, dummy half. Here is Sean O'Loughlin, the only Wigan player playing on his home field tonight. Clark again, and he gets it away to Jamie Peacock, who just stumbles in front of Fatuira. He made his 2004 Test debut for New Zealand against the Aussies at Newcastle, did Paul Fatuira. And Adrian Morley gifts it to him.
A little bit too fancy. They didn't need to do that. I'm just about to make the say that Great Britain normally just take it nice and steady, work their way back into the game and try to get field position. That's what New Zealand have done so far, but far too fancy from Morley.
That's Mannering. Mannering goes down under the challenge. Dean Halatau. And a drive forward by second row Louis Anderson. Warrington bound next year, of course. Halatau waits again. Maguire in the way in the ruck, but the referee says play on. Here's Asatazi. And Roy Asatazi drags two inside the 10-metre mark. Wants to play it quickly, does so to Halatau. Halatau is brought to ground. That's the last one, but there's still danger here for Great Britain.
Will the kick
Go
for the power play, Eddie?
It's with Roberts, and they're going for the power play. They're running it, and that's Mannering, and they're in again with Fatuira. New Zealand lead by 10 points to 0. 10 minutes on the watch. What a turnaround from a week ago. 44-0. They were hammered in Hull. It's 10-0 here in Wigan, and Paul Fatuira, he gets the second New Zealand try, and they have run the ball on the last tackle there with the power play. So Paul Fatuira, he played in the 2000 World Cup for the Maoris, and he came up with a try in the first test at Huddersfield, where he'll be next year, and he was gifted the possession there by Adrian Morley.
Well, Fatuira was just lurking around, and they've got the possession back, and they've made him play yet again. The second occasion. Hesitation there in defence, wanted to know where the kick. See how they hung back. Came right out of position, and Fatuira has made them pay yet again. These are wonderful tactics by the New Zealanders. We said they'd play with pride tonight. They were so disappointed with the drop-in last week, and they have stood up and been countered.
And the silence at the JJB Stadium in Wigan is deafening. 10-0, New Zealand lead, and Jeremy Smith, well, he kicked one from the other side a few minutes ago, and he's about to have another shot at goal here to give the New Zealanders a 12-0 advantage. It's a funny old game, isn't it, rugby league?
In many ways, it's actually done Tony Smith a favour, this. Had Great Britain gone to a 10-0 lead, the Kiwis may have capitulated. It could have been a 50 points to nil scoreline, and the Great Britain side would have gained nothing from it. Why? Where this goal kick has been hiding, I don't know.
12-0. Jeremy Smith hasn't kicked a goal all year for his club, but he's kicked two in the opening 12 of a test.
They're caught out yet again. You get the overlap. Is it a Great Britain player in that space? No. And when he appears, got the overlap. That is a tremendous try. They're running hot. No fluke about those two scores. Power play one, try. Second power play, another try. This will warm up now. Great Britain have to lift. They've got to get possession.
Well, they led in the first test at Huddersfield, the Kiwis, but that was absolutely short-lived. Great Britain have never been 12 points adrift in this series so far. And here come New Zealand again. And they look full of running now. Dean Halatau is the dummy half. And there's the kick again, very early in the tackle count from Ben Roberts, but it's fielded this time by Paul Wellens. It's all New Zealand in the opening 10 minutes, but Wellens begins the counter here.
He does it so often. It is wonderful tactics by Gary Campbell, the Kiwi coach, mainly due to the good defence. He did well, senior there. That shows you the upper body strength of the man.
It was a big hit by Chase Stanley, but Keith Senior just bounced off him and made a few more metres forward. But he is hurt, is Keith Senior. He's on his haunches as this play continues in midfield. He got a right crack on the head then. Here comes the skipper, Jamie Peacock. Oh, and he will have to go to the blood bin, will Keith Senior. Meanwhile, here comes the loose forward. That's John Wilkin of St Helens. 6th cap for Great Britain here tonight. Rob Burrow. Now, Maguire dabs the ball down the wing, and the crowd just buzz a bit, because after he kicked that, he was taken out by Jeremy Smith.
Now, was the tackle completed? No, said Tony Archer, the Australian referee.
This is Sam Perrott.
Good work by the fullback there, number 1.
It's Tuiaki again.
Hold.
Well, he was committed, I think, nothing in that.
No, he just grabbed at him. Well, that's a pretty good hit there by Adrian Morley, but what we have not seen from this Kiwi outfit in the first 2 tests has been a lot of enthusiasm, but tonight they really have had a good workout. They said that they were disappointed. They've come under heavy criticism by the media down under in New Zealand.
Roberts again. That left foot of his has been useful already tonight. That's another good kick, and David Hodgson has to pick it up just a couple of metres away from his own try line. Almost through, but it took 3 to bring him down. Louis Anderson was one, Clinton Tupy was the other, and the halfback Jeremy Smith the third man.
Eddie, I was making the point earlier that their kicking game, the New Zealand kicking game, would be much improved tonight because of Ben Roberts. We've already seen that. We haven't seen Jeremy Smith do a lot of kicking yet, but I can assure you now that they have got options both left and right side, and I think that's going to be a major strength for their game. Not only the kicking game, but just the enthusiasm that these two guys, the 7 and 6, seems to have injected into this New Zealand team.
The kick downfield from the loose forward John Wilkin was fielded by Perrott.
Well, they've taken a leaf out of Kiwi's book, haven't they? They kicked on the 3rd tackle there. As you don't need to be told that the Kiwis are bossing this at the moment, both with possession and field position. Just a little knock on.
This could be a turning point for Britain in this first half. It was a good challenge actually on Ben Roberts by Rob Burrow here. Knocked the ball out of his hand.
Good play by the little halfback, Burrow. Disappointed, Roberts. First real opportunity that will they do something, set move at the scrum base, Phil?
Well, you've seen that they've had the minority possession of the game. It's the first time in 16 minutes that they're going to start to set inside New Zealand's half. I think they'll try and hold on to it for a while here. They won't kick too early. Senior back inside now.
And they've stemmed the flow of blood on Keith Senior's head by the looks of things. But it takes 4 to bring him down on the first tackle. John Clark waits. They're in centre field, midway inside the New Zealand half of the field. Here's the skipper, Peacock. He'll play it to John Clark. Clark then finds Sean O'Loughlin. Here is Martin Gleeson. Gleeson out the back door to Adi Gardner. Gardner is halted by solid New Zealand defence. This is Burrow. Burrow then to Maguire. Maguire finds Wellens. Wellens, went without it. Did Gareth Ellis.
Got to take the ball. You got to make sure that the opportunity arises, and you grab that opportunity, and they failed to do it. A big gambling did Chase Stanley there. Came out of the line, but it was sufficient
First ball was perfect, second ball from Wellens was not.
Just went behind him slightly.
Well, that was the pressure they put on by Chase Stanley, wasn't it? That's a terrific defensive play by a winger. You make a decision, you say, I've got to go to a man, but I've got to either make the tackle or I've got to jolt the ball loose. And that was a terrific decision he's made for a young kid, and he's come up with a turnover.
New Zealand beat Great Britain twice in the Tri-Nations last year down under. 18-14 in Christchurch, 34-4 in Wellington. They defended the Tri-Nations trophy with gusto last year in Sydney. Yet only 5 of that team that took part in that Tri-Nations final played last weekend, when Great Britain won by 44 points to 0. This is Halatau. Halatau, great run. Great run takes New Zealand over the halfway line. Hauled down by John Clark.
He's been one of their better players, the hooker, Halatau.
Good kick again from Roberts, but it just bounces on the whitewash.
He's controlling the game. It's the standoff. Beautiful little kick into the corner. Okay, he knows he's going to give up possession to the red, white and blues, but he knows also that their defence, for the first time in this series...
The crowd here tonight are as shocked as our viewers will be to see this 12-0 scoreline. Here comes James Roby off the bench. Wonder if he can turn the match around.
Well, he has a habit of doing that, hasn't he, especially with St Helens.
Gardner, his St Helens teammate. Trapped, though, in centre field by Jeremy Smith, the halfback. Danny Maguire is the British dummy half. He gives it to Morley. Morley drives it forward, but only as far as the loose forward Simon Manneringlow down, and 3 more piling in on top of him. Clark goes down the short side. John Clark is grounded on tackle number 3. Great Britain 25 metres away from their own line, that's all. In possession here with Gareth Ellis. It's a test of this British resolve now. They've not been behind at 12-0 in this test series all the way through. They've got a tackle here for Great Britain, still inside their own half. Rob Burrow, left-footed kick over the top. Will turn Chase Stanley around, but he leaves it actually to Sam Perrott. And Perrott will bring the ball forward, takes it as far as Burrow.
Tremendous chase. That'll just lift the spirits of the British boys. They needed to as well. I must say, the first and second markers around the play the ball area for New Zealand over the first 2 tests have been banned. They've been penalised for lifting the man. All that hard work. Good kick down by Burrows. Good chase, just thrown away. Silly play there.
Well, that looked a bit harsh from Tony Archer. It was the legs came up. Note in the book for Tony Smith, the legs came up, but they didn't come above the horizontal, did they?
No, it might be a bit harsh, but perhaps that's the sort of luck that New Zealand didn't have in the first 2 tests. Not that I'm suggesting for one moment they were good enough to win those, but you know, that does play an important part, the way that penalties go when you get them the field position that's in. But one thing that's standing out tonight to me, the difference between this test match and the first 2 is the speed of play the ball that the Kiwis have got tonight. They're a lot more clinical in their play the ball. Perhaps the Great Britain players are not getting as many numbers in as regularly as we saw in the first 2 tests.
Here's the substitute Jeff Lima, the member of the Melbourne Storm Grand Final winning squad last year in Australia. And Halatau to Ben Roberts, and that was Perrott. Robert takes the return. He nearly lost that. It was carried one-handed. He got the tackle into James Roby. Fatuira with a kick down the line, and it bounced actually into the arms of Martin Gleeson. I think he really fancied that. It actually almost stuck to his palm. This is Adi Gardner. Solid New Zealand defence.
It has been for the first time, and you can see there that Great Britain, they're a little bit confused. Remember, they scored 2 tries on power plays. Some was moving up, others were hanging back. Are they going to slim it out wide, or are they going to do the kick? They're a bit confused, Great Britain, at the moment.
That was good work from the second row forward, Sean O'Loughlin, but there was no way forward for Rob Burrow. It's Peacock now. Straight into the chest of the New Zealand defenders. Good New Zealand defence here, solid stuff. Still Britain penned inside their own half. Maguire's kick has to be good. It's cross field, and it will skip away, and Chase Stanley picks it up close to the touchline, comes in field. Ellis is after him. Ellis and O'Loughlin finish him off.
messing around, and Tony Archer.
Well, he blew the whistle on the appeal then for the New Zealanders.
He didn't get out of the way, Laughlin, and he has to once the tackle has been completed. Can't blame the referee on this occasion.
Up here, Ben.
And he tried to milk it, got it.
There's your mark, Ben.
There's a lot more fire. Confusion written on the face of Tony Smith. Little sly smirk.
Let's go, boys. Down here. Hold.
All square on the penalty count. 23 minutes on the clock. New Zealand ahead 12-0 in possession here in the danger zone with Mannering, the loose forward. 10th consecutive appearance at this level for Simon Mannering. He's only 21. Now here is Jeff Lima.
Turn, move. Hold.
Lima, they're 10 metres away. Halatau. Halatau and dummy half for 4. Feeds the second row, Louis Anderson. All down by his opposite number, Gareth Ellis. New Zealand threatening here. And here is Rapira. Gets the ball away. Smuggles it back. And the referee keeps the tackle count going because the halfback, Jeremy Smith, had it. Roberts. Good defence from Britain now. It has to be as well. The other Jeremy Smith. Quick play the ball. Fatuira, this is on the last. And the kick again from Roberts. Now Hodgson is after this. It's a tester for Hodgson. Oh, it bounces. And this is Chase Stanley. And Chase Stanley is held up. And Great Britain survived. And that's good defence, to be fair, from Great Britain. That's on the last. That will be the turnover.
The official, Tony Archer, just had a little conversation with the touch judge there, saying, did Hodgson touch it first, which had gone back to 6? He didn't. And I must say he's having a nervous time as Hodgson. The Kiwis realise they feel that he's a bit of a weakness. He looks a little bit uncomfortable out there, does Hodgson, at the moment.
Just went through his hands, for Britain.
But he was nowhere near it. He should have been back, running towards the ball, rather than being in front and going back for it.
Played in the French test in the summer, did David Hodgson, his first Great Britain call in 6 years.
Well, they've tried to work it down the middle with the big forwards, Britain. They've really got to start getting into a position where they can miss out the big fellas. They've got to get the link going. Roberts and Smith, the halfbacks for New Zealand, they're doing it. But I'm afraid Barrow and Maguire have yet to click.
There's Maguire now with a little chip over the top. And Maguire just won't bounce for him. He has another flash at it with the boot. And in the end, it bounces kindly for the Kiwis this time. Good run, good solid run this is.
Just didn't get that final bounce. Beautiful work by Maguire.
But a great piece of defence from Tuiaki.
You could see there was no dummy there behind. No sweeper. Just didn't get it, did it? Got the bounce.
This wouldn't come down for him, would it? Here is Jeremy Smith again. Halatau, the other Jeremy Smith, the scrum half. Back it goes to Louis Anderson. Louis Anderson brushes away Rob Burrow. Can't get away, though, from Gareth Ellis. And his Gareth Ellis was round the head.
Strangle tackle, or grapple tackle, call it what you want. He's certainly given a little bit of a workout there under the neck and the chin.
Wait, Ben, there's your mark.
That would have made an impression on the mouth guard. Lack of cohesion.
Kirk Yeaman about to come into the action for Great Britain by the looks of things.
Where you go?
But it's New Zealand who are in possession here with Mannering.
Stand. Hold.
Solid defence required from Great Britain again. It's Asotasi. Asotasi going straight at his opposite number and fellow captain Peacock. Pick himself up and play it to Halatau.
Watch for the inside pass.
Roberts comes wide with Perrott. Maguire is on his back. Perrott still making a bit of ground. He plays the ball to Fatuira. Fatuira just pops it up to Jeff Lima. And Lima is halted by the British defence again. That's tackle number 4. And there is Jeremy Smith. It comes back to Ben Roberts. Then on to Asotasi. There's a little gap ahead for Asotasi. But that gap is quickly closed by Jamie Peacock. That's the last tackle for New Zealand. Halatau here at the dummy half. Gives it to Jeremy Smith, the scrum half. Another dab over the top. Oh, it's great. And it's... Oh, he's in touch. Chase Stanley is in touch. I thought he flicked the ball back for Clinton Tupy. but he was in touch. The touch judge's flag went straight up, and now the referee...
He's got to have a look at it, Eddie, because I think that when he gets it flicked back first, but I think the support player, he gets it away, I think. No,
he's tackled in the air, so it should be a penalty to New Zealand.
Yeah, but listen, David Hodgson, they know he's got a weak link. He's not having a good time. Look at the position of it. He wasn't even wanting to look for the football. He was more concentrating on the man. That should be a penalty.
You should be able to tackle a man in the in-goal area, Sean.
I don't disagree with you, Phil.
How else can you defend?
Yeah, but that's not the rules.
In the
You've got to go
NRL,
for
you
the ball.
can. The Super League, you can't. International rules, you cannot do it.
Well, it's no try, that's for sure, because the foot has hit the corner post as it comes back.
Yeah, but is he going to give
the ball? The man has been tackled in the air.
Knocks on anyway.
Yeah, I said the man serving up would knock on, but the thing is he going to be penalised for taking the man out? And you could see there that David Hodgson did not even look at the football.
Ashley Klein is the video referee tonight. Wonder what he's made of all that. No try. It is a penalty kick to the Kiwis because he was tackled in the air.
Well, he's got it spot on, and full credit to the Australian referee, Tony Archer. He said, look, he'll have to look at it. This is more pressure.
You might remember last week we had a similar incident with Shontaine Harpy and Gareth Rayner. And they asked the question, and Tony Archer said, it's an international rule, not an NRL rule.
Tony Smith and Steve McNamara just sharing an opinion about that. But the replay proves conclusively that Ashley Klein has got it spot on.
Yep.
And here is Louis Anderson now. Well, another try here for the Kiwis, and it would be very interesting. Here is Lima. Lima still.
This is a real test of character for the Great Britain side now. They've got to work as a unit.
Halatau is the dummy half. Halatau, good
Great
defence from Morley. Back it comes to Jeremy Smith. On it goes to Ben Roberts. Roberts shows it. Great ball, Fatuira. Oh, and picked up off the toes. My word, Great Britain can be fortunate because Tuiaki, did he actually lose that forward?
It'd be interesting. Wasn't the best final pass. See, he was going down. I'm not so sure that he knocked on.
That's what I mean.
Tuiaki.
Maybe he did.
It's hard to say. Gary Campbell.
Well, Gary Campbell, the New Zealand coach, 19 tests as a player. He's been coach of the junior Kiwis, the New Zealand residents, the New Zealand A, reserve grade coach at New Zealand Warriors. He assisted Frank Endacott in the Kiwis' 1995 World Cup bid. But this is as big a job as he has ever had, and Sean, you must have worked with him in 95 with the Kiwis, didn't you?
I did, Eddie. He's a lovely bloke, is Gary, very knowledgeable and very conscientious in terms of work ethic, and I think he thoroughly deserves this accolade that he has, which is one of the highest you can have in the game, is to coach a national team. He's probably just taken over at a time that's very, very difficult. As we've always said, we've been saying there's a rebuilding phase as we see a penalty given to Great Britain there.
There is a rebuilding phase going on in New Zealand, Sean, but they have this rule, don't they, that the New Zealand coach has to live in New Zealand. Great Britain have not found touch. Now they have.
Oh, they're very fortunate.
They are so lucky then.
Well, that was sloppy play.
Chase Stanley just couldn't stop the ball from going through his legs, and then he just touched the whitewash. Look.
Went backwards. No knock on. He tried his best.
Maguire's kick, this was. He just looked, it's just the toenail on the whitewash.
That's all it takes. Could be confusing. That's why a lot of the wingers, wear white boots.
It was a shocking kick from Danny Maguire. We might discuss that rule that the Kiwis have for their national coach later. He has to live within the confines of New Zealand itself. Here is Peacock. Britain applying the pressure for the first time.
Roby on his own. You wouldn't bet on it.
Roby's there. He's gone for it, Roby. He hasn't got it down, has he? Tony Archer having a look. No, good defence. Burrow. Back it comes. Oh, Gleeson couldn't take the pass in from Maguire, and Britain have stopped, and here come the Kiwis.
Well, Gleeson was underneath the sticks. No problems whatsoever. Oh, he's got him for a forward pass. Very fortunate indeed, Great Britain. They were all over the shop.
Well, Gleeson was thinking about underneath the posts, and I'll tell you what, Fatuera was when this ball was picked up. Because Britain had stopped.
That was a dolly. Look, they're all at sea. There's nobody there. Didn't take into account the momentum rule.
Oh, Steve, we're being listened to and viewed by people in New Zealand. They might never have heard of your momentum rule.
It's not my rule, okay.
This now is Maguire. Pops the ball up to Paul Wellens. Wellens will play the ball. And here comes Morley driving the ball in. Lima and the loose forward Mannering. Britain have suddenly upped the ante with Burrow. No way through for Rob Burrow. Graham and Jamie Jones-Buchanan on for his debut. That meanwhile was Roby. This is James Graham. And James Graham gets to within half an inch of the line. He's over the line.
He scored.
James Graham has scored. Unbelievable effort from Graham. He's on a second or two ago. That's his first touch of the football. And he just carried them over the line with him and plonked the ball down. Well, Britain was struggling at 12-0. They've suddenly just lifted the tempo. And James Graham on the end of that just wouldn't be denied. He just kept pumping the legs forward. It's his 5th appearance for his country. He has yet to lose at this level. And James Graham has lifted Great Britain here with this try.
And we needed it because, remember, a few moments before, Gleeson bombed an opportunity. Talk about upper body strength here. He would not give in. Good positioning by the official, Tony Archer. Get out of the way. Jeremy Smith tried to get through him. They all came. Look at that. He was cocooned by black and white.
6 black jerseys there.
There he goes. Look at those legs pumping. That is a try, a vital one indeed. Britain sure needed that. They were all over the shop. This is an important conversion.
Rob Burrow, whose 4 successful kicks at Huddersfield earned him the Man of the Match award, or helped to. And Burrow adds the extras, and Great Britain 6, New Zealand 12. Graham, the hero for Great Britain from the St Helens club.
There was enough was there, they should have stopped him. But this guy, what a sensational effort from the big fella. An unknown 2 years ago.
Well, you have to say that Great Britain missed this young man on the Tri-Nations tour last year. He didn't make it. He was injured, had a nasty hand injury in the aftermath of the grand final. But Graham, there he is now, only just on, and he has got Britain back into the match.
Just shows you the advantage, though, Eddie, about how we keep talking about that. This is not a 13-a-side game anymore. It is a 17. You've got 4 subs. And it was the right timing as well for Tony Smith to throw on James Roby, James Graham, James Buchanan.
Here is Jamie Jones-Buchanan. It's now with Burrow, and here is Graham. Last tackle. New Zealand taking a while to get off the grounded man. From Roby, it goes to Maguire, who dabs it through. Was there a man taken out there?
Should be a penalty.
Yes, there is. Penalty for Great Britain. There was actually 2 men taken out. The kicker was the first one, and then the chaser, I think it was a Lachlan, was the second.
I think you could add a third. I think Wellens was even impeded as well.
Well, that's debatable, Phil, in as much that when you're going in the same direction, you can use your sort of your shoulder. Definitely the first one, O'Loughlin, without any doubt, and I think that's the reason why. And that's interesting. They've opted to take the quick tap from there. Remember, Maguire missed with a long kick down for the penalty.
Here is Burrow, gives it width and finds Maguire. Maguire then to Wellens. Wellens comes through the middle. Thought about releasing the pass to Martin Gleeson, thought better of it. End of the 3rd tackle. Gleeson infield, it goes to Maguire. Maguire dummying. Twinkle toes Maguire, but Tupi, well, he's a Leeds teammate, the number 3 for New Zealand, knows all about Danny Maguire's dancing feet. And Roby waits at dummy half. They go down the wide side, or the blind side rather, with Sean O'Loughlin.
He's got it away!
Senior! Keith Senior with the try. A try here 3 years in a row for Great Britain. 2002, 2003, 2004. How priceless is this try for Great Britain tonight? And the Kiwis had a 12-0 lead not long ago. It's now 12-10. But Keith Senior, he has played more tests against New Zealand than any other British player. And he has just come up with his 12th try at test level.
All came about with a penalty there. You could see Clinton Tupri definitely took out Sean O'Loughlin. But they worked the short blindside, and what a beautiful offload here from O'Loughlin. Look at that. Floored around O'Loughlin, and they left him there all on his own. His bandage is bruised, he's bleeding. And I'm stating the obvious, but that is a great try.
Well, he's delighted to have scored this 12th try at international level, but he just had a little grimace when the ball went down because he knows he's left Rob Burrow with a very difficult conversion attempt here, as you can see. And had he not just lost his footing as he went over the line, he might have tried to improve the angle for Burrow. Anyway, Rob Burrow has kicked them off the touchline this year for Leeds Rhinos. Can he do the same again for Great Britain here? Got a chance. It's just short. But Great Britain have hit back. The Graham try, the Senior try. 12-10. New Zealand lead.
Good solid effort. Slowly but surely got themselves back into the game. It was an amazing turnaround. In the first 20 minutes, the Kiwis controlling it, kicking very early in the tackle count, field position, but O'Loughlin's offload there. They really were caught out. 4 went for the second row, O'Loughlin, and as soon as he offloaded to Senior, it was an easy run into him. But it just shows you, Sean McRae, that how the Kiwis were controlling it, kicking early in the tackle count, and as soon as Great Britain copied it, they've started to get back into the game.
Absolutely, Steve-O, and sometimes in this game it's not just about the physiological response of players, it's the psychological response. And when Chase Stanley unfortunately failed to defuse that kick that didn't go out, that seemed to galvanise the Great Britain players. It seemed to lift them, and yet the Kiwis have, well, I don't remember them having too much football since. And that, I've always said that's when they're vulnerable. When they have to defend set after set, they start to fatigue very, very quickly, and I think we've seen that in the last 10 minutes.
Jamie Jones-Buchanan gets Britain to the halfway line on the last tackle here, this set of 6. It's with Maguire, he'll hoist this high. And this is a tester for Chase Stanley. Oh, there's a big knock on. It's still all over the place. Great Britain have got the ball back. The referee will play first knock on. Head and feet to Great Britain, and a minute to go in this first half. James Graham's just noticed the scoreboard with the clock ticking down. And he's asked the referee now to call time off because he motioned the British forwards to get into the scrum and get it formed, so he could do exactly that.
Not the best attempt, Chase Stanley. And when that ball comes to him, could have been an offside perhaps. Either way, there was no real advantage, and they've got to do a set move. They've gone to the blind side.
They have with the Rob Burrow, with Keith Senior on the top, and Hodgson scores! And Great Britain unbelievably are ahead. They were 12-0 down, and we haven't seen a British Bulldog spirit from Great Britain for some time. But they've come up with it here tonight, and they fought their way back into a match that looked at one stage in danger of running away from them. David Hodgson, a timely first try for his country here in Wigan. And in the last 10-15 minutes of this first half, it has been all red, white and blue. But very early in the piece, it was all black and white. And the New Zealanders were running the show, but now Britain lead.
Well, it's been a nervous start for David Hodgson, but he's repaid his coach. That was beautiful hands, wasn't it? You knew they were going to work a short blindside at the scrum base. Beautiful work by O'Loughlin. He just brought in Jeremy Smith, the halfback, to create the overlap. The handling was nothing short of superb. And a very relieved winger, Hodgson, goes back to his position for the kickoff, but I don't think there'll be enough time. What a turnaround. We said they had to dig deep. Did they have it in them? Yes, is the answer so far.
Burrow with this conversion attempt. And off the post. There's the half-time siren. Great Britain lead by 14 points to 12. They were 12-0 down. Stanley and Fatuira with the tries. But from the 34th minute to the half-time hooter, Great Britain have fought their way back. Graham, Senior and Hodgson, only the one conversion by Rob Burrow. But Britain from 12-0 down, turn around at 14-12 at half-time. 40 minutes away then from the end of the international season for Great Britain. And they lead here against the Raised have won the second half is underway here, courtesy of the boot of Paul Wellens. By the way, while we're talking things international at the moment, just a word about the game's amateur arm, Bala. They've been in touch with me to say that a Great Britain amateur team's off to France on the 9th of next month to play Morocco, an event for the French equivalent of Children in Need. We wish them well for that. The game will be played in Nîmes. The Bala Great Britain amateur team. All the best. Meanwhile, this is New Zealand in this third and final Gillette Fusion Test match. Great Britain 2-0 up in the series, 14-12 up at half-time in this third match. They certainly control the latter stages of the first half. Can they now kick on and pick up the 3-0 series whitewash?
Well, I think the coach, Gary Kemble of the New Zealand side, would have said to look, we control that for the first 20. Just fell apart, gave away some silly penalties. And let's just have a repeat of that first 20 where they took the gamble, took the power play on 2 occasions, came up trumps.
Great take from David Hodgson. That ball was spiralling out of the air from the boot of Ben Roberts. It was a towering kick. And Hodgson, but he was a bit dodgy under the high ball in the first half, and that will do his confidence and power good.
Well, I think scoring that try just before the half-time break certainly helped him. And it's a bit of a swirling wind. The wind has just got up over the last 10 minutes or so.
Steve, I don't know where you've been all day. It's been blowing a gale from dawn.
That was inside.
Oh, dear. It's a penalty here to Great Britain. You're cocooned, aren't you, till about 5:30 when you come down to the match?
I haven't been well.
No. Well, we're not too long away from Halloween. I suppose you lift the lid and pop out. And
just don't light my candle, all right?
Oh, this is James Graham now for Great Britain. 2 minutes into the second half here, and it's with Rob Burrow. Burrow to Maguire. Maguire, ball goes to ground, but he manages to hang on to it. It went backwards. It might have actually come off a New Zealand arm anyway. This is Burrow. They come down the short side with Wellens. Wellens to Senior. Keith Senior with that head bandaged, and he was sharing a joke with the British doctor, Chris Brooks, in the dressing room, as we saw during half-time. James Graham now back to Burrow. Burrow jinks away from one, jinks away from two. Burrow for Britain! Oh, fantastic! Rob Burrow! He's been doing that all year for Leeds Rhinos in their march to the grand final. He is having a fantastic series. Man of the match at Huddersfield, 4 goals, trying a goal last week. He tore up last year, he was never given his chance. Man of the match in this year's grand final, and Rob Burrow has edged Great Britain even further ahead at the start of this second half.
That's what every international side needs, someone that can just do something out of nothing. It looked as though he was going nowhere. The step, the dummy, the handoff, couldn't get him down, and then he just put it into top gear. And then overdrive, straight over the line. They have him. Mannering said, no, I've missed him. I've missed him. Give me a smell of that whitewash and I'll get over it. Beep, beep's done it again. He's come to the rescue of Great Britain so many times in this series. And what about the dummy that he sold at the end? Man of the series as far as I'm concerned.
And here he is to try and improve his try. 1 from 3 with the boot tonight. And a couple of difficult kicks from out on the touchline. Not the regular goal kicker, of course, for Leeds. That job is Kevin Sinfield, but he has kicked a few this year, and here he is now trying to make it the perfect 6 for the team and himself personally. He has done exactly that, and Great Britain from 12-0 down now lead 20-12.
Well, what you'll find, Eddie, if you look back at the tries that were scored here tonight, all 6 of them, they've come when sides have got close to opponent's try line. Field position has been the key. That might not be the case as the game wears on, but ultimately it's about getting to the right end of the field. Penalties or mistakes have helped teams to get down there, and the best sides then at the moment, Great Britain more recently, have converted that field position into points.
This is David Hodgson from the kick-off, and half-back Jeremy Smith was complaining that I think it was Gareth Ellis was in there being used as a shield by Great Britain as David Hodgson began his run back with that kick-off. Here is Morley.
I was just going to make the point, Eddie, in as much that I just got the impression that Great Britain were missing the likes of Price because of his stepping ability.
Oh, here goes Maguire now. Couldn't get the ball away. Under great pressure then from Hami Luaki. And Rob Burrow dabs the ball into space. David Hodgson is quick. And David Hodgson, oh, there's a mistake there from the winger, Jay Stanley. And it is picked up by the fullback, Sam Perrott. But suddenly the Kiwis look like they're rocking again.
Good kick as well, early in the tackle count. Good play by Sam Perrott, the fullback. It had to be as well.
That's a great offload.
We made the point that it was a little bit of a dodgy 20 minutes at the start of the game for David Hodgson, but it's just turned around. It's Chase Stanley now that's having a bit of a nightmare. Late in that first half, Great Britain was starting to pick him out. They worked at him on that side. Remember, they scored just before the half-time break when it was Hodgson that sneaked in on a blindside move from the scrum.
That was Halatau. Here is Roy Asatazi, and New Zealand get over halfway. That's the last tackle. Halatau again, and it comes to Roberts, who will drill the ball all the way down the line, but Wellens positioning himself perfectly again. Down to the sideline and Bill.
Eddie, you mentioned Keith Senior having treatment at half-time. In actual fact, he had 10 stitches in the wound underneath that bandage. It's quite a painful cut. But in actual fact, Keith Senior apparently is more concerned about how he looks, and this is, I think, how it came about in the first half, clash of heads. But he's more concerned about his appearance with that bandage, and it isn't the most flattering of bandages. It looks a bit like a poached egg, in fact.
I'm glad you said that, Bill, and not us. There's been a bit of a schmozzle here in centre field. The referee's called a knock-on against Great Britain. He has. It's New Zealand's scrum.
Exactly, he's got to play the ball.
Yeah, real mess up there, and just getting themselves into a good position, trying to get the forwards through. And does Hodgson lose it there? Yeah, he does. Roby tried to pick it up and get away as though he'd played the ball, but he couldn't convince Tony Arnold.
Yeah, as well. The rain now, by the way, is starting to come down. And that ball went to ground, but Clinton Tupi managed to hang on to it. Here is Perrott again for the Kiwis.
Quick thinking there by Danny Maguire. He caught himself in there. You can see the rain just lashing against the Great Britain side.
Yes, it's November and it's Wigan, and it is Test Match Rugby League on Sky Sports, and a penalty to the Kiwis.
Well, they want to get a quick tap on there. 2 points are going to be no good for them.
It's exactly what they do. Halatau started off. Here is Jeff Lima. Lima is halted 10 metres away from the British line.
The Kiwis have got to start turning in the tackle and try to get some support play. They've got to get a bit more offloaded.
Halatau again. He takes them to within a couple of metres of the line, though. End of the second tackle. There's Ben Roberts. Oh, the ball goes through the legs and is picked up. They're a bit fortunate to get away with that, and it might become very fortunate here. Maguire with the tackle.
Great defence. Good work, you know, there by James Graham.
Louis Anderson it was. He plays the ball to Tupi. Tupi has got Senior ahead of him. Wheels away from his Leeds teammate and then goes up the middle. Hauled down by Graham and Jamie Jones-Buchanan. That was Jeremy Smith. Ben Roberts again stabs the kick in through the legs of a British player and picked up by James Roby. Referee shouts held.
Not a bad option by the Kiwis. Little kick through, went on the fourth, didn't wait until the last. And it's important now that the black and whites try to force Great Britain to stay in their red zone. It's going to be difficult for Great Britain because we could see that when the rain was coming, it was a strong wind against them.
It's Morley driving it forward. Penalty to Great Britain. That is a relieving penalty for offside.
And they've got to be careful not to try for too much length here. Make sure that he gets over the whitewash. Yeah, the second marker wasn't standing square, and as soon as he got involved, no problem for Tony Archer, the Australian official. That's a Tarty. As soon as he got to him, he's going to give the penalty away.
Jamie Jones-Buchanan is dumped to the ground. Jamie Peacock, the captain, waiting to return. Here is Graham. And remember, Jamie Peacock, who now replaces Adrian Morley, begged Coach Tony Smith to stay involved in this because he's had some heartbreaking moments with Great Britain in the past. Here is Gardner.
No advantage.
No advantage, he'll bring it back. Will the official? Well, the opportunity yet again, Martin Gleeson, to a nice little dummy, got the gap, then lost possession.
I called you offside and you got involved.
He's not too worried by the looks of things, Tony Smith. 20 points to 12, 8 points to play around with, nothing to be too confident though.
Jamie Peacock told Tony Smith didn't want to be out there as captain picking up that trophy, which they're going to get because of the series win, in a suit and tie. He wanted to be out there in playing strip in his full battle gear, and that he will do in around about half an hour's time or so.
And they want it to be a whitewash. That's the most important factor.
Talking about the Kiwis, Eddie, it's been a period of transition. The fullback, Sam Perrett's been pretty good while he's been in this country, and he has competition for that #1 jersey. I'm not sure whether he'd in fact prefer to play on the wing, but Christian Inu, who wasn't able to travel over after being injured in the Australian Test match, he's an outstanding prospect as well. So there's some danger in this Kiwi outfit. Some on the field tonight, some still back home in New Zealand.
Indeed, and Brent Webb as well, of course, who has had a great season with Leeds. That ball's come free. It's going to be a knock-on here against New Zealand. Brent Webb not able to take his place in the New Zealand lineup either. Roy Asatazi does not look impressed with this decision.
It was definitely hands in there by James Roby. Watch the fingertips, left arm goes underneath and just flicks it away.
I don't think he's trying to flick the ball away. I may be wrong, but Asatasi has offloaded the ball so well in this series. Maybe the emphasis is on clamping it to the body and holding it up, because he has done that so well late in the tackle with 3 defenders around him.
Kirk Eamon is on for Adi Gardner. Gets the ball away.
Well, this is where the forwards have to roll the sleeves and get to a lot of hard work, because the ball is going to become very, very slippy. Not conducive to fast open play in the 3 quarters.
Little run from Roby, halted. And play on, says the referee, because the ball carrying arm did not hit the ground then. That's why Roby was able to offload it. With Kirk Eamon coming onto the field, 23 British players used in this series. Maguire gives the ball to Ellis. Important tackle that was from Jeremy Smith. Here is O'Loughlin, now it's with Burrow. Wellens, the ball went to ground, it's a knock-on, down to Bill Arthur.
Where you are, change over.
Yeah, you mentioned Kirk Eamon coming on, and he in fact has replaced Adi Gardner, who's on the sidelines. He's got a knock on the shoulder by the look of things, just being treated. Ice going on the left shoulder, so I think Eamon's gone into the centre, and Keith Senior moved out to the wing for Great Britain. Professor Chris Brooks in there, just treating the Saints player.
On the 10. On the 10.
Found it rather interesting the way that Bill Arthur indicated that Keith Senior was somewhat worried about his looks.
As I say, I'm glad that Bill mentioned that, not us. But just another line about Kirk Eamon, by the way. His last test was in the 34-4 defeat by the Kiwis in Wellington last year in the Tri-Nations. So he will be delighted to be out there at the moment, 2012 up. That was the substitute Lance O'Hire, number 14 there, who is on. There he is again, little scamper from him from dummy half. Down he goes though. Tackle number 4. Still inside their own half, New Zealand.
Outside.
And the kick
is a good one too.
Is a good one from the scrum half, Jeremy Smith. Wellens.
And they got there in numbers. Not only that, just on the chase on the right-hand side, you could see way out down the middle of the field, there was 3 New Zealanders cutting in. There was nowhere for anybody to go.
Oh, the ball has come away from Keith Senior. New Zealand have it back.
Have a look here, boys. Keep coming, mate.
I was just going to make the point about Lance Ohio. He's coming on and playing at hooker, and I think that's a position that suits him. He's very quick out of dummy half, throws a good pass, but more so defensively, he's a lot more difficult player to get at because there'll be plenty of numbers around him. Whereas when he defends on the edge, they tend to isolate him and get plenty of yards or even create space.
Nice tackle that was by Yeaman. Oh, the ball is knocked forward off loose second row forward Louis Anderson. He was under pressure then from Yeaman, and Yeaman got 2 good hits in then.
Well, not surprising. It was good hit. Good work there by Yeaman, but look at the rain piling down into the faces.
Well, it's a squall, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeaman isn't interested, though, in the rain. No problem for him. There's a problem for some of the spectators on the front row of the stand behind the post, though. It's blowing into that stand. They're all racing up to the back of the stand.
And you said it was like this all day. I doubt it. It wasn't this strong.
Oh, great kick, early kick. Maguire's after this. Maguire's after this. He's quick and it's bounced perfectly. Maguire for Britain. And Maguire scores. Invented play from Great Britain in a squall. Referee has not given it yet. He's gone to the video referee at recline for a decision.
Well, the only thing I think of is whether he's offside.
Is quick.
He's got to see whether he's offside. He is. That's a good call by Tony Archer. This will be turned down, I think. It's close. There's Maguire on the blind side of the scrum. Now his back leg is about level with the kick.
This might tell us.
Oh, it's just because his foot is raised. This will be given. It is so close. You've got to anticipate that the ball is going to be coming off the boot just about now. And I think that his left leg...
Well, it's level at worst.
Yeah, it's got to be given. He's got to be given it.
And he's looking at the grounding, so that indicates that Ashley Klein's going to give the try.
And I love that move, Eddie. How many times over the years I've been calling for that? No team has a fullback at home.
Try from Ashley Klein for Great Britain and Danny Maguire. Missed the first test. Substitute last week. Try in 2 previous tests. Against France in June and against Australia in Brisbane last November. He has produced some great games for Leeds Rhinos on this field, and he has just edged Great Britain further ahead here.
Well, who would have thought it? Any coach in the world, against the wind, the rain bouncing through, he shifted the standoff to the blind side. Lachlan give it a boot right downfield. It bounced superbly. Can he convert?
Can Maguire add the extras? 50% success rate tonight. Sorry, Burrow. Can Burrow add the extras? Yes, he can. Yes, he can, Rob Burrow. 26-12. New Zealand led 12-0. Britain have scored 26 unanswered points.
Well, Tony Smith has a great dilemma at the moment, doesn't he? He has Leon Price and Danny Maguire, and he's hoping that over the next 50 weeks they do everything that they possibly can to improve individually so that they are in the number 6 jersey for England in the World Cup. It's a great scenario for us to have, Eddie.
Well, isn't it a nice problem for us to have, because after all the trials and tribulations that we've had at standoff over the years, we've got 2 now, at least. Knock-on called against Keith Senior here.
Off there, mate. Off there.
Well, he seems to get his arms away. He didn't touch it.
Off his hands.
No, it's off his knees. Poor call there by the official. Of course, the official does not have the advantage, as we have at the replay. Either way, Great Britain have to dig deep here. Kiwis know there's still plenty of time on the clock.
There is. There's only 14 points the difference. But the way Great Britain have defended in this series from the very first match in Huddersfield, that breeds confidence.
Certainly does.
The New Zealanders will score in 4 tackles, but we'll see.
They were a bit shaky in the opening 20 minutes, to be fair to them. New Zealand exposed them on 2 occasions, but it was good play from their count.
That's
great defence.
Drilled to the ground by Jamie Jones Buchanan. Here is Ben Roberts. This is Louis Anderson. He's through the first defence, but he's not through the second. Roberts again, good kick towards the post, ball bouncing everywhere, and it comes off a Great Britain boot. Burrow it was, and Great Britain will have to drop out from underneath their own sticks.
Pretty good option by the Kiwis as well. You can see the rain driving through. This is the one where he kicked from the scrum base. Absolutely superb. Got the bounce, got the power. This is the kick from the Kiwis on this occasion. Rob Burrow. What a series this guy's had.
And the crowd shout for knock on as Ben Roberts just flicked at that with his foot, a reference to the fact that Keith Senior was picked up for the knock on a few minutes ago. That never was. But as you're right, Steve-O, the referee doesn't have the advantage of the replay. There's Mannering.
And this is where New Zealand have to utilise this strong wind with the rain right into the faces of the Great Britain boys.
Defence.
You've got to get a high kick.
Roby and Graham, and that was one of the biggest men in the team. Fui moi moi. Well, Britain now, having scored 26 unanswered points, want to keep that line intact. Drive forward here is by Jeremy Smith.
Got to get some high time.
And there is Lance O'Haya, and O'Haya is on his back and held up.
That'll be the turnover.
Wonderful British defence again. But what do you Aussie coaches say, Sean? Defence wins your matches.
Absolutely, there's no question about it. And you know what, I think over the 3 matches, we're not sure how this result's going to go. I suspect that Great Britain will be able to hang on. I hope they can score a lot more points. But, you know, we'll break down all the facets of rugby league, everything that you incorporate into a game. And I'll tell you, the big difference over this 3 tests has been the Great Britain's ability to defend their try line. That's where they've been absolutely superior. When the Great Britain team get the ball near New Zealand's try line, New Zealand players make poor decisions because there's more emphasis placed on one-on-one defence. But Great Britain have defended their try line so well in the series.
I mentioned at the start of the match, remember, that the record for tries scored in a test series against New Zealand by the British is 19. Well, they are 3 tries away from equaling that 80-year-old record right now. And they've got 20 minutes and a bit to try and get them. Here is Clinton Tupy, away from Maguire. Can't get away from Burrow, though, but he stands. They just didn't want to know then. Let's get an update on Aidy Gardner. Here's Bill.
It is. It's the left AC joints in Aidy Gardner's case, and unless it's a real emergency, he will not be returning. Unlike Adrian Morley, who is out on the sidelines, pacing up and down like a caged lion, ready to return to the fray for the final quarter.
Good run from Lance O'Haya, meanwhile. Rapira comes on as well, and Asatazi bows out for the time being. Jeremy Smith with the kick behind David Hodgson. Difficult for him in the greasy conditions, but he does well. But he's pushed back and over the line, is he? No, the referee says he managed to get the ball on his right side of the whitewash. The New Zealanders flying in looking for the tackles. And it's an obstruction against Paul Wellens.
I'm not happy with it, Tony Smith. He certainly did utilise one of his players. The Kiwi defence, one of them just shot out of the line. There you see him out of the line there, and yeah, well, I think that's a bit harsh. Fatawira was deemed to have been obstructed by David Hodgson,
who was only standing his ground, to be fair, wasn't he? Anyway, the New Zealanders looking for something here. This is Roberts. And Roberts,
the work
hard tonight.
The work from first and second marker for Great Britain has been nothing short of superb tonight.
Here's Clinton Tupy.
They've worked overtime. They've harassed the man at the dummy half position throughout.
O'Haya again, flicks the pass. Rapira goes down, tackle number 4. Here's Tupy. Infield it comes to Jeff Lima. Great Britain stand firm again. Can they stand once more for this last tackle? As O'Haya finds Smith, and he dips it in behind the defence. And the ball is not dead, and it will be another set of 6 for the Kiwis.
Mr. Reliable yet again, Paul Wellens. Ooh, he missed it. It was Hodgson that got the boot to it. Yeah, it looked as though the Ben Roberts was just sniffing. Could have got to it.
It's a great test of this British resolve in defence now, isn't it?
And we can see how short that kick was because of the strong wind. They've moved up pretty quickly though, and that is a big hit.
Great tackle from O'Loughlin, helped out by Jones Buchanan. That was Jeremy Smith, and here come the New Zealanders again. That was the other Jeremy Smith.
You know, the one guy that's really stood up in the defensive, they've done all the hard work in the forwards, but I think Sean O'Loughlin has been absolutely magnificent. He's put his body on the line time and time again. He really has put in some big hits throughout this series.
10 metres away from the line, Lance O'Haya fires the pass, and he gets the ball to Jeremy Smith, and the ball goes backwards and is continued on, and there's a chance here for Mannering. He's just short, shouts the referee. Last one.
Can't have been much in it. Mannering screaming at the referee, saying he got it over.
Now Roberts will hoist the kick again. Senior waits for this. The ball is packed inside. Oh, Louis Anderson can't get to it, and Britain survive again, courtesy of Wellens.
Anderson cannot believe it. He was thinking 4 points. Oh! And now they've come up with a bad error from Yeaman. They'll play the scrum, no advantage.
Well, the pressure is building on Great Britain, isn't it?
Here we go, boys.
And the New Zealanders have not turned this in yet.
Oh, he thought he was there with Louis Anderson. And then Great Britain just commented, look at that. Mannering.
You're short, I saw it clearly. Just like I saw theirs on the line.
He's talking about, but he's still short.
Well, Simon Mannering is still chunnering at the referee as this scrum forms, and the referee has just told him, you were short, I saw it. This Parrott. This is Watuira. Fatuira. Trapped to the ground by Hodgson and Maguire. Well, all this pressure, you would expect New Zealand to score on this set of 6.
Shove out wide on that blind side. They've got 3 in. Well done. Good work.
Oh, Roberts straightens it up. Down he goes. Tackle number 3. O'Haya to Jeremy Smith. Second row forward, moves forward. And the ball came out from Jeremy Smith. The other Jeremy Smith from dummy half dabs the ball to the in-goal area, and Britain survive. Do they?
Yeah.
Touch judge points.
Just on the line.
The referee has gone for the video.
He'll have a look, but I think it's just on the line.
Chase Stanley believes he might have scored his second try here.
It's a good option. Nice little dink into the corner. Onside as well. No doubt about that. They'll run this on. But I think it just beats them. Just on the whitewash. Is it bouncing? Is it bouncing? Is it bouncing? Yeah, it's on the whitewash when he gets his hand to it, I think. Then it is. That's a contact. Is he going to give it? I think that's on the line. I'm going to go for no
think it's a try, Steve. I think he gets it down before the dead ball line.
Pretty close.
It's close, and
well,
maybe
you're
you're right.
to give the benefit of the doubt the attacking side, aren't you?
Yeah,
you're right, Clarkey. I think he's going to give it. Nice chip into the corner, fully deserved.
All the pressure that New Zealand have put on that British line has it told. It has benefit of the doubt. Try for Chase Stanley, his second of the match. And New Zealand are not giving this up. They're not giving this third Gillette Fusion test up without a scrap.
Good option. Nice little chip through there.
It's a game of inches, this, isn't it? Game of centimetres.
Certainly is. And I think it's a good decision to have this benefit of the doubt there. It's so close, isn't it? Yep, quite clearly. There is downward pressure on there before it rolls onto the line. And they're back in it.
They are, and the kick
nervous times.
Well, Chase Stanley, 18 years of age, 2 tries on his debut. 26-16, the gap 10 points. It could narrow down here with this kick from Jeremy Smith. Wind is at his back. It will drift the ball towards the posts. And he kicked well in the first half when he had the opportunity, didn't he? He got the 2 conversions. Jeremy Smith of the Melbourne Storm. And he has kicked it for New Zealand. 26 points to 18. Well, there was all that pressure. They forced a goal line dropout. They forced a couple of errors from Great Britain. They had repeat set after repeat set, and it told short.
It's very difficult to defend your line for a set after set, and I believe there were 4 sets of 6 then. And I was going to suggest that if that try hadn't been given, to me that would have summed up the Test series. The fact that the Great Britain have been ever so good. They still have been ever so good defending their try line, and it's taken some work from the Kiwis to get over the try line this half and give themselves an opportunity now with about 13 minutes left on the clock. They've now got an opportunity to they're certainly back in the game, but they need to capitalise on that score.
And Simon Mannering is looking to do exactly that from the New Zealand Warriors. Centre for the New Zealand Warriors. Would you believe just 1 test in the centre for the Kiwis in his career? And this is his 10th appearance, 10th consecutive at this level. Kick over the top.
And another good kick as well. It's pushing Wellens well back. They've got that in numbers again.
Great chase from New Zealand.
After the debacle last week at Hull, you have to say that Gary Campbell, irrespective of what happens, what the scoreline is, he has to be pretty proud of the effort. They knew they had to pick themselves up, show a lot of pride.
And they've got the test in France as well, of course, next weekend, Steve-O.
Yeah, it'll lift the spirits, and I think that Ben Roberts and Jeremy Smith, the 2 halfbacks, they've shown enough for me that they should keep their position.
Eddie, you mentioned that New Zealand went into the game without a recognised goal kicker. Jeremy Smith has kicked 3 from 3, 2 of which were on the sideline. Had he kicked in the first test at Huddersfield, it could well have been a draw.
Who knows?
You know, they might not have even known he was a goal kicker, though. I mean, he's at the Melbourne Storm, and they have a great goal kicker in Cameron Smith, the current Australian hooker. And I don't even know if Craig Bellamy, the coach, would know that he was a goal kicker. I think they might have drawn these out of a hat, and he was the one that came out.
Samoa against Lebanon, by the way, is live for you on Wednesday. Sky Sports 2 in high definition on HD2. Channel 409, you can find that. And it's the final place that's available for the World Cup 2008. The repechage final, Samoa-Lebanon. The match is at Featherstone, at Featherstone Rovers ground. And I hope that we get a great crowd down there on Wednesday night, because Samoa and Lebanon will be a great game. If last night, when we saw the 2 matches at Widnes or anything to go by, James Graham waiting to return. If you love your rugby league and you're a fan of the international game, there is a certain match there at Featherstone on Wednesday night that you can really show your colours.
Well, they both play expansive football, so it will be a treat on Wednesday.
Shocker. Hodgson with the knock-on.
Well, it was all over the place. It's pretty difficult out there, as we mentioned, the wind, and they went for it, then tried, they didn't, just dropped out of it.
Well, this is the chance there that New Zealand look for. They formed the scrum very quickly. There's still some life and fight left in the Kiwi team. Here's the opportunity. Just over 10 minutes to go. If they can score in this set of 6, it's game on, Eddie.
Very much so. John Clark bouncing around, waiting to return to the action. 10.5 minutes remaining. If New Zealand score here, it really is game on. Here is Sam Perrott, their fullback, and Perrott taking on Maguire. Maguire, oh, the pass was behind Chase Stanley, who thought there was a hat-trick on, and Great Britain escape. He was drifting. Look at the run.
But what a wonderful series this fella's had. Sam Perrott, OK, he came up with a really horror when he allowed a try in that first test at Huddersfield. But I must say, he's impressed me, this fella, Sam Perrott. A good opportunity there. Was it a case of poor pass, or was it Chase Stanley just overrun it? Either way, Great Britain, big sigh of relief.
Very much so, they escape. 10 to go.
Britain have to realise they can't just hang on. They've got to play positive rugby league football. Oh, swinging arm there by Ben Roberts, not seen by the official. They're desperate for possession of the Kiwis.
They are, because they know there's 10 minutes remaining. That's great defence. Fantastic defence from Simon Mannering. John Clark has re-emerged. And James Graham comes on as well, and he takes the place of Jamie Peacock. And the long kick downfield. Chase Stanley is safe underneath that. How is the chase from Great Britain? Clark gets to him, but Perrott was there. Burrow brings him down, and then two more converge. Looking at the face of the British captain, Jamie Peacock, I don't think he's too impressed that he's been withdrawn.
I think he's going to go back on, Eddie. I think they give him a couple of minutes rest. I think he'll be back on for the end.
He doesn't want to be off, does he? He doesn't want to miss the last 9 minutes of this series.
He doesn't want to sit down either.
No. There's a hint for the coach, if ever I saw one.
He's still on the sideline. He's not looking at the bench.
This is Louis Anderson, who will be wearing the colours of the Warrington Wolves next year in the Super League. Good hit by Morley, that on Jeremy Smith. That's the last one for New Zealand. It's good defence in the centre of the field for Britain here. Back it goes to Roberts. It will hoist again. Wellens is underneath it this time. He didn't fancy it either. Wellens claims it. And it's offside, says the referee, against Jeremy Smith.
He encroached the 10 metres. He was in front of the kicker, and you've got to allow him the 10 metres. Well spotted there by Tony Archer. It was a bit fortunate. You see all the black and whites in front. They've got to stand 10 metres. They've got to give the man. And you can see that, well, I'm not so sure. Didn't touch it, perhaps. That's the reason why. Oh, a bit sloppy, Great Britain.
Went backwards. James Graham picked up the pieces and took a hit from Roy Asatazi for his pains. Here goes Clark.
That's good work by Clark. That's good thinking. Realises he's just been a little bit off the boil at the moment, Great Britain. So he's run from dummy half. That's pretty good. You can see it's very slippy out there.
That's Roby underneath that tackle. We'll play it to Clark. Here is Graham.
When you've got the 8-point lead, you just play for position. They're nearly at the halfway line, so on the last, it should be a good deep kick.
It was from Burrow, and it is a good kick. It's behind Chase Stanley. Great kick that, draws applause from the crowd. Ball is then played in field to Perrott. Clark there with the tackle. Morley there also. And John Wilkin. And when you think about the likes of Wilkin and Graham and Roby and the other St Helens players in this team, Paul Wellens, of course, remember their season began the first weekend in February this year.
3rd of Feb, I think it was.
It was the 3rd of February with the match that was brought forward for the World Club Challenge at Huddersfield. And here they are now, middle of November, and this is the last match. I dread to think, if you added up how many appearances for them, they've had a long, long, hard year.
Last one!
That's the last tackle. They're still inside their own half, New Zealand. It won't be now because the kick from Roberts is good. It's angled and it's across and behind the British defence. Senior picks it up. Good chase from New Zealand. They fancy the last 6 minutes of this. They're only 8 points adrift.
Well, the last time Great Britain had the ball for the first 6, it was this man that started it. John Clark, run from dummy half. If they can just get to the halfway line, that's all they have to do. Looks as though there's a problem for Simon Mannering.
This is Wellens. He shrugs away from one. And Jeremy Smith was there with the tackle. Jeremy Smith is right in the ruck, but he wasn't interfering, says the referee. So play on, and Burrow dances away from a couple more. Still going, Burrow. Only as far as Dean Hallertau. Peacock is going to return for the last 5 minutes. Yeeman will run.
Last one!
Last tackle.
Hold!
Peacock's on.
Go!
And Maguire with the kick. Oh, he was taken after the event. Roberts made the challenge.
He's looking at the touch judge.
Touch judge is on the field.
Oh, I'm not so sure. Was he committed?
Because I've got no sound. I've got no sound equipment.
Well, they could have pulled out of it. Ben Roberts there. That should be a penalty.
I've got no sound.
It's not. It's a turnover. It went out on the fall, so it comes back to where the man kicked it in the first place. Still nervous times. Still plenty on that clock. Quick try here from the Kiwis. Boy, nerves will be jangling.
They will, because this is Luaki.
Will Great Britain put a dummy runner? You can see that Paul Wellens is just over anticipating making the little chip over the top. He's not way back. He won't do that probably until the last.
Louis Anderson will play the ball to Halatau. Here is Roy Asatazi. Good ball then from him to Rapira. Rapira, Great Britain forced the error again. Rapira couldn't take that pass in. Well, they've got 4.5 minutes remaining, and they have an 8-point advantage, Great Britain. They are that close to a 3-0 series whitewash, something that they have not been able to celebrate in this country for 14 years.
Surrender!
Long time between drinks, but this is where they just got to use their experience. It's a slippy ball. A couple of runs from dummy half. They're already over the halfway line. So this is where you control it.
Jamie Peacock there. He is one of the leading contenders for the winner of the Golden Boot this year. The best player in the world. He is a candidate for that, the British captain, and he was the international forward of the year in 2006. Here is Adrian Morley.
Just hard graft, make sure you get into the opposition's red zone and then control it with a kick, maybe a little dummy.
That looked a bit high from Jeremy Smith on Roby, but Roby just keeps those legs pumping. Eventually is halted.
It's been a better performance defensive-wise from the Kiwis tonight.
Burrow, and here's Maguire. Maguire, good hands. This is Wilkin. 3 tackles gone. Great Britain 20 metres away. Wearily, Wilkin to his feet. Here is Peacock. Jamie Peacock continuing the battle, takes them to within 9 metres of the line. 4 tackles gone. Britain looking to finish the series on a high here. New Zealand could have been penalised for that. Here is Clark. John Clark! Just short of the line. Thought about stretching his arm out. Oops! How did that come out? Penalty.
They'll take the 2 points. They won't mess around trying to get the try here.
2 points.
That's the way to do it.
2 points.
Stretch it.
He wanted a try, the coach.
He's already told me, mate. He's already told me 2 points.
He's like the fans, isn't he? Let's see some action. Ping it out wide. Let's see somebody swing a score in the corner.
I think he'll be a bit relieved to go for the 2.
He's got to have a shot.
It's in a kickable position, and Barrow waits for the tee.
Well, they say they'll kick, and Tony Smith not happy with the decision, but he would be the first to say you give the decision to the men out on the field. They're the players who must be absolutely shattered at the end of this Test series.
It doesn't matter how you win, as long as you win.
Exactly.
And this is common sense. It's nice to have gone over and scored a try and then maybe have the conversion, but just take it nice and steady.
Well, they made the decision in haste, didn't they? Because you can hear Tony Archer saying to the players, you've already told me, you've indicated you want to kick for goal. I've already sent the touch judges around there. Because the players clearly wanted to change their mind and go for the try.
Well, Burrow to add a couple of points, but the referee wants the Kiwis back behind the line.
Climb back up.
They've got to be 10 metres back. They're just about maybe 10 metres back, but the referee wanted them behind the sticks, I think. Burrow then for 2 more for Britain. Yep. 2 more it is. 28-18. 10 points gap. Not too long to go. And Great Britain with a 3-0 series whitewash.
Yeah, it's wrapped it up. I've got my wish. And it's been an impressive performance by New Zealand tonight. They came out with a lot more pride, vehement, vigour. And it took a little bit of brilliance from this guy, Rob Barrow, to really steady the ship. Just after half-time, that solo try was superb. They gone for the short one. They got away with it.
Play on, says the referee rightly. Here is Rapira. Good hands from Perrott. Out wide it goes. And Hodgson does well to get Fatuira to the ground. Hodgson and Fatuira will be colleagues at Huddersfield next year. Here, meanwhile, is Louis Aki. Hounded to the ground by this British defence. Second tackle inside the last minute. Great Britain want to win this test by 10 points. It's Asatazi. Asatazi to Clinton Tupi. Tupi comes forward, brought down by Peacock. Less than 30 seconds to go. Perrott the dummy half. There again is Jeremy Smith. It goes wide to Ben Roberts. Roberts out wide, and there is a chance here for the try. and he is in for the try. Tuiaki.
He'll give it.
They'll have the last word, the New Zealanders. Taniela Tuiaki from the West Tigers club. He took his debut in the 58-0 defeat by Australia, but he will come up with the last try of this 2007 Test Series in the UK.
Beautiful long pass. Hodgson went far too high, trying to take his head off. Tuiaki slides in at the corner. Good combination from the two halfbacks again, Roberts and Smith. He'll enjoy scoring that, but they know it is a bridge too far. It's all over. The whitewash, the dream is there. They knew they had the trophy with that convincing win at Hull last week, but this is just the icing on the cake.
Tony Smith leaves his seat in the stand. Great Britain have scored 5 tries to 4. Jeremy Smith has so far kicked 3 conversions of the 4, and he's going to try and add the extras to this from way out on the far touchline. 3 from 3 for Jeremy Smith. This to get it back to a really respectable scoreline. Remember, it was 44-0 last week. It is 28 points to 22 now. This for 28-24. Smith with the kick. He has missed it. It's a try and a goal. The difference, but it's a victory, and it's the 3rd win in a row in this series. The same as 1993 when Great Britain beat the New Zealanders 3-0. First time in 14 years they have enjoyed a whitewash in a series. And it means that Tony Smith has had the best start to his Great Britain coaching career since Malcolm Reilly 20 years ago. He won his first 6 in charge. Tony Smith has won these 3 and the game against France in mid-season to make it 4 in a row. OK, there was the Northern Union match. There was the centenary game at Warrington sandwiched in between that the all goals from the Southern Hemisphere won. But as far as Tony Smith's concerned as Great Britain coach, a perfect winning start, and James Graham remains never having lost.